This video deals with some pretty heavy subject matter, so if you're not prepared for that, please click off. Somerton was clearly not in the right place when he uploaded this video, but I still think he's nonetheless worthy of a lot of criticism. Apologize to those you have wronged.
I tried to do something really stupid. I woke up in the hospital. I'm not trying to make this a sob story.
One of the most standout things about James Somerton's apology video is how deeply unsympathetic it is. Somerton forever feels inauthentic because he never uses his own words. He's so lacking in identity that even his regular words sound plagiarized. Firstly, I think it's clear that Somerton owes his fans and the people he stole from a massive grovelling apology, as well as giving back the money that they wasted by donating to someone who was stealing all of their videos. It's a complete non-apology that just blubbers and focuses on himself for the entire time. As you know, the H-Bomber Guy video has basically nuked James Somerton's entire career, and perhaps to get a scrap of it back, he just wants to harvest as much sympathy as possible. The whole video is just so vague, he's apologizing to the wind, really. But there are deep problems with it. His lack of humility is just utterly astounding, especially considering that he failed to even apologize to anyone he stole from.
I'm not trying to make this a sob story. I'm just trying to explain, why I've been so quiet.
Finally, James Somerton's actual words are being quoted. Everybody's expecting you to be quiet if you've been comprehensively called out by a video that got 13 million views. Fortunately, he did at least find the time to nuke his entire online presence, which, you know, is a big bonus. The next thing he wants to apologize for is...
the stuff in the videos, not crediting people. For a lot of videos, you know, I did the opening titles thing.
James is trying to feign ignorance here in order to create more plausible deniability, yum yum yum. He obviously knew what he was doing was wrong. That's why he knew he had to delete and re-upload all of his plagiarized videos. People must have been directly telling him it was bad for his entire so-called career. The history of all hitherto existing James Somerton is the history of plagiarism. He talks about how he lost Nick because of this, as if this isn't just his own actions.
There were a lot of times that stuff just got put in and there was no attempt at crediting anybody.
He uses the passive voice, a technique that H-Bomber Guy already pointed out, that implies what he did happened by magic, in his words. He leaves in so many superfluous personal details that add nothing to the video. 6 minutes in, he's just still talking about himself, and says, sorry, I wasn't gonna make this a sub-story again, which is just fucking incredible, honestly. This video is 35 American minutes long. If you don't want to seem like you're trying to have the spotlight for yourself, I really wouldn't do this. He's also sorry for
copying people's work and not crediting them properly or at all. I honestly say that I never intended for any of that stuff to be in the videos. In most cases I didn't write it, but I should have been more diligent.
This is another obvious case where he's trying to throw Nick under the bus implicitly. So, what's James's XXL genius brain come up with to try and fix the situation? Well, he's going to credit people in the videos he stole from and then make them public again, and then give them the AdSense. Firstly, I don't think these videos are going public ever again, because like James Somerton's YouTube channel is nuked, it's not going to be active for a long time. He still thinks though that a regular credit in the description is going to be enough to cover the overall plagiarism that happened. Never once in the video does he say he's going to start asking permission from the people he steals from, which just says to me that he hasn't learned anything. You're going to need to put out some serious warnings if you're just re-uploading a plagiarized video. Say that it was paraphrased word for word and where from. Get clearance.
I want to thank H-Bomber Guy. I also put either in the description or the pinned comment the names of the authors.
Later in the video, he says that he never thought that anyone thought that he was doing journalism, which is another one of those wonderful little deceptive swishes he's been doing. Somerton was never seen as a journalist by anyone, but with his pitiful little list of sources on each video, the fans would have assumed that he had done his own research.
But the people who actually were doing it should have been given the credit that they deserved. They did the hard work. All I did was edit a video.
Notice how he doesn't take direct responsibility for what he's done. He distances himself from it by continually implying that his videos were the actions of a committee. This is the same lie that Mr. Harris McBomber Guy pointed out in his landmark, groundbreaking video essay that only time will tell whether Somerton will actually make good on his promises. He said he would make a second apology video, which, I mean, yeah, I would want to too, but what I find astounding is that he leans back on the same bullshit excuse he used last time.
Right there in the opening credits, I put Vito Russo's name, that it was adapted from his book, The Celluloid Closet. Same thing went for the Gay Panic video and the Gay Holocaust video. The Gay Holocaust video was adapted from 2 books, and the Gay Panic video was adapted from a lot of journalism. I put their names right at the beginning of the video.
It's truly embarrassing that he's trying to pretend like it's lesson learned when he clearly doesn't even know that excuse it just doesn't work anymore. How am I supposed to believe that you're gonna grow and change if you don't even understand that what you've done is bad?
But I understand that that's not how citation works.
He's trying to say that he thought it was okay at the time, but now he knows better. But he has a business degree. He knows that plagiarism gets you completely kicked out of academic spheres, and for good reason.
I know a lot of people hate me. Yeah, I did bad shit, but I want to try and do better. At some point, I'd like to make videos again.
Again, he's focusing the attention on himself. I don't know how he's gonna make videos again, because apparently he doesn't know how to write them. The entire video is basically built off a known lie, that it's some kind of licensing or sourcing issue rather than a plagiarism issue. It's like, I should have credited people properly, not I shouldn't have plagiarized. Plus, you gotta have some serious balls to lie in your apology video for something that you got so clearly and obviously exposed for. Somerton may not be the most famous plagiarist, but he's possibly the only famous person I know that is known for being a plagiarist. As much as I admire his ambition to continue writing and making videos, it's gonna take a long time to repair his reputation, if he can at all. About halfway through the video, he brings up the way people were hurt by his actions, but this is the way he phrased it.
Before I went to the hospital, I read a lot of stuff from people who were really hurt.
I find it very disingenuous that he only frames the whole situation in terms of his own experience.
People think that I hate ace people and women and bisexual people and lesbians, and that's not true. I'm sorry, that stuff made it into videos that just shouldn't have been there. Misinformation and lies. I promise you I did not write that stuff.
Yeah, I know you didn't write it, but it certainly wasn't Nick either. He responds to criticism of his bigoted comments by claiming that in his heart of hearts, he doesn't really hate women. It's not really responding to the substance of the accusations, and he clearly doesn't want to apologize for what he actually said, either because he still believes it and doesn't want to look bad, or because what he said was really fucking bad, he doesn't want to say what it actually was.
I specifically want to apologize to asexual people who feel like I just completely delegitimized you. Nick being ace.
Let's play a quick game of Spot the Discrepancy, shall we? He keeps throwing Nick under the bus implicitly. He says he isn't because he never directly says that Nick was at fault, but he implies it constantly. He's become so used to doing it that he does it in this very video. He alleges that people think he hired Nick to have a scapegoat, which is ridiculous. I don't think anyone believes this. Somerton is using the well-regarded technique of inventing opposition that thinks all these ridiculous things about him, as well as strategically using outliers that allow him to deflect from what he did.
I've seen a lot of people on social media and other YouTubers even lying about me, but...
Tell me, why did he bring this up? Was it to A, gain sympathy, or all of the above? I thought this was supposed to be your apology video, dude.
In the next couple of days, I'm gonna send out a message to the Telos supporters on Indiegogo and explain the whole situation.
He did not, in fact, do this.
I swear on my mother's grave that there will be no copying people.
The word again is strangely left out. He's using the word copying because it sounds more innocent, rather than the more accurate one, plagiarism, even though he completely ripped those people off. He didn't just copy them, he buried them and took their credit. He later admits that the plagiarism was due to laziness, and vehemently denies that it was anything to do with malice. He gets closer to the actual point here by mentioning his failure to write in his own words, but then again pretends like the issue is that he didn't properly cite or give credit. It's that he fucking plagiarized. It's like he can't even accept the basic premise of the expose that conclusively proved him to be a plagiarist.
As for Patreon, I'm going to reactivate it.
What for exactly? For your back catalogue that was completely made up of other people's work? 30 minutes in, he finally apologizes for, quote, how much harm I was bringing to the community. Near the end of the video, he apologizes for a completely separate error, that hateful comments in replies were still being seen on his videos, even though he took the time to delete hate comments in the regular section. He seems genuinely regretful that his channel was not a safe space, and it's the first time in the video that I would be willing to believe that it was genuine. He also takes responsibility for his comment section, which is an all too rare practice among YouTubers. As for the misinformation, for the, quote, wrong research into historical things and other things, they're not what I wrote. He puts his plagiarism in the misinformation category, even though the people he stole from were primarily credulous writers who did their research. That's why he decided to steal from them. He thanks HBomberGuy for the fund again, and says he wants to contribute as he outlined before. Not all, some of the sponsors wanted to take his videos down. He also reaffirms his plan to make the videos public again with proper credit, but glaringly omits that he needs to ask permission from the fucking authors before he word-for-word quotes them without any indication as to when it's happening. One of the things that stuck with me is his quote, I hurt a lot of people that I really respect, and I really hope that isn't including the artist, because clearly Somerton does not respect them, and I find it very glaring that he didn't apologize to anyone specific that he stole from.
Thanks for watching, and
Subscribe!